What's going on, my Kick Talk family? It's your boy Tripple Rich. I'm back like an echo in an empty hall, and today is episode 26. We are going to talk about the Nike Zoom Vomero 5. What is a Vomero? Where did the shoe come from all of a sudden? Is it a trend or is it still going to be around? And you might have many other questions about the shoe that seems to be everywhere these days. So without further ado, let's break it down and let's kick talk. Wait, before we get into the details and the history of the Nike Zoom Vomero 5, we should talk about some fun facts first. First fun fact, did you know the name Vomero is actually taken from a city name in Italy? I would never have thought that. How about you? Number two, did you know when the original Nike Zoom Vomero 5 came out in 2011, it was iPod compatible? That's crazy to think about. The ones that are out now can't even do that. Number three, did you know if it wasn't for the choice of a high fashion designer to use this silhouette in a collab, the shoe might never have gotten a second life on the market? Insane to think about. So without further ado, now we can kick talk. Now let's talk about the history and the lineage of the Nike Zoom Vomero line. It originally started in 2006, and it was supposed to be a Nike running line specifically dedicated to runners looking for cushion and comfort. When the line first came out, they actually got the name from a city in Italy. The city is Vomero in Italy, and it's known for its picturesque, beautiful scenes, but it's also very jagged, very hilly, very rocky. So Nike wanted to take the vibe from that city and showcase it on this running line, essentially telling you that the shoe is beautifully designed, great to look at, but it also can take a beating. It's durable, it's rugged. Now, the Vomero line comes out with a new silhouette every year. So it started in 2006. Today we're talking about the fifth silhouette, the Zoom Vomero 5, which came out in 2011. Now what's interesting is when the 2011 version of the Vomero came out, it came with Nike Plus technology. When you would buy shoes with Nike Plus technology, they would come with a little computer chip in the box that you would insert into the bottom of your shoe. There would be a space for it, and you could use your app to see all your metrics, cadence, distance, all that good stuff. The shoe came out in 2011, but it didn't get any love after that. Because what happened, as I said, was you had a new model dropping every year. So as great as the shoe was, as many good reviews as it had gotten in the year it came out, it was just going to get phased out. It was going to get replaced naturally. So 2018 comes around, and it was a high fashion collab that brought the shoe back into relevancy. You had this designer named Samuel Ross, who had a company called A Cold Wall that did a number on the shoe. Now, just a little history on Samuel Ross and A Cold Wall. Samuel Ross is a black designer from England who had previously interned for Virgil Abloh, and he had also worked on some Kanye West projects. So his name was already solid in streetwear, and Nike said, all right, we're going to give you a try. The first collab he did was an Air Force One. He dropped two colors of it, and essentially he tried to minimalize the Air Force One as much as possible. Those shoes did really well, so Nike was like, okay, you get another stab at it. And he said, all right, but I don't want to do a general shoe. I want to go into the archives. So he dug into the archives and he found the Zoom Vomero 5. Honestly, not a very popular shoe at that time. And he said, I want to rework this. I want to highlight the shoe, and I'm going to show you how. He decided, let me throw a brick on the back of this shoe. Now, what you might want to know is that Samuel Ross, as well as his A Cold Wall company, take a lot of inspiration from architecture as well as geology. To my understanding, he felt that adding this shape would just bring the eye towards some of the more subtle details on the shoe that you might not have noticed in the original release because there wasn't something that forced you to look at it. So this shoe, when it was getting leaked online before the release, there were a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people called the shoe ugly. A lot of people didn't understand the shoe, as you might figure. And he dropped a white version and an all black version. Both these versions sold out immediately. It was almost like an after effect, that after the shoe sold out, that made the shoe valid, and now people wanted to run after it. The shoe did so well that Nike said, we want you to drop 2 more colors. So in 2019, at the beginning of the year, he dropped a solar red version that almost kind of reminds me of Red Octobers, the Yeezys. And then he also dropped an earth tone with almost like these blue aluminum accents that was really cool too. If it wasn't for this collab, if it wasn't for this idea, the Vomero would have never come back into light. I'm sure of that. Now, in 2019, as I said at the beginning of the year, you had the 2 final colors of the Cold Wall collab, but towards the mid-end of the year, there were a few regular versions that were released, and as they were released, they were snatched right up. Resale value was going super high. Also, this shoe would not get more releases until 2022. So Nike really built up that demand from 2018 to 2022 to get people interested in the shoe. Now that we understand the history and the lineage of the Nike Vomero 5, let's talk about where it is in today's current market. For me, I'm surprised that the shoe is still going strong. I thought it was gonna just be a trend, but it has seemed to be here for the long haul. But with that said, I did see in my research that there were tentative plans for Nike to discontinue the shoe in spring of 2024. Now we're in the early quarter of 2025, and I am still seeing upcoming colorways to be released of the shoe. So that's a good sign, but it is a slight warning, some slight urgency to let you know that the shoe may not be around forever. It did essentially pop up out of nowhere, and it can disappear in thin air as well. With all that being said, I also did notice Nike recently put out a new model of the Vomero 5. It's called the Nike Vomero 5 Rome, which I find funny because if the name Vomero is from Italy, Rome kind of sounds, but Rome is R-O-A-M in this situation. It's almost like an outdoor rock climbing version of the shoe. It's more rugged. It looks like it's supposed to be for people who go on hikes. So we'll see how long that silhouette stays around. I think that silhouette, as cool as it is, it looks a little gimmicky, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Vomero Rome comes and goes, right? No pun intended. So there are great things to say about the shoe. Almost every person I've talked to that has a pair in their closet or at one point did has said it's one of the most comfortable Nikes that they've ever worn. My quick advice on the Vomero 5 is that it does run a little narrow. So me personally, I usually wear a 10, sometimes 10 and a half, but I did get a 10 and a half in this shoe and it fits perfectly. So just a little game for you. Now let's talk about some of my memories with the shoe and some of my favorite colors of the shoe. So first off, I'm going to say I don't remember the shoe growing up. I don't remember the shoe in 2011. My first memories with the shoe are in 2018 when they were previewing this Cold Wall collab. And I remember just looking like 5, like where's 1, 2, 3, and 4? So it almost felt random to me that Nike and Cold Wall chose the shoe. And I will say, I didn't necessarily love the shoe when I first saw the leaks, when I first saw the previews. I thought it was quirky. I thought it was funky. but I didn't know if it was for me. And honestly, it wasn't until about 2 or 3 years later that I ended up going back on eBay and getting a pair of these. And I believe this pair I got from a seller in Japan. Yes, once I got the shoe, I loved it, and I'm still actually scouring the internet to see if I can get a good price on the all black pair as well. So that's my take on the Vomero. Some of my favorite colors besides this Cold Wall collab. The one that comes to mind for me is the Dornbacher version. I don't know if you're familiar, but it was awesome. It almost looked like some type of fire Pokemon. Like, it just had all these fiery red, orange, and yellow accents with a little black to balance it out. It was beautiful. I actually won a pair on sneakers. I listed them to flip and they sold too fast. I was almost tempted to cancel the transaction because I knew I could get more for the shoe. I think the Dornbacher shoe came out for like 180 bucks. I might have resold it for like 250, but if you look at prices now, they're in the 700 range. So I'll always have some slight regret, as well as I wish I might have just kept the shoe for myself, but it can't be disputed how beautiful that colorway is. So what are your thoughts on the Vomero 5? How do you feel about the collab? Do you have any ill feelings? Let me know in the comments after you like and subscribe, please and thank you very much. You know we don't put out any trash videos on this channel, so you know what to do. Either way, it's TikTok episode 26 in the book. It's your boy Tripple Rich. I thank you for your time. I'm going to keep working on my craft. I know you will keep working on whatever craft it is that you're working on as well. And we will see you on the next episode. But until then, take care. It's your boy Tripple Rich.